Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the July 28th, 2015 Laverne Planning Commission regular meeting. We do have a quorum. Need an approval for the meeting minutes for the June 30th, 2015 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve or disapprove?
I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman, as submitted.
I have a motion to approve. A second?
Second.
I have a second. Minutes are approved. Excuse me?
Roll call.
Oh, roll call, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. They are approved. Our first item of old business is a site plan for Craters and Freighters requested by Huddleston and Steel for proposed 9,900 square foot warehouse building at the existing site, 2 acres. Property is located at 131 Jones Boulevard, tax map 017, parcel 7.04. It is an I-2 heavy industrial zoning district, property owned by Conley and Conley. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. In your packet, you do have a deferral request from Mr. Roundtree, who is the design engineer for the Craters and Freighters project, and they would like a deferral so that they can get their site in order for next month.
Okay, deferred. Our second item under old business is a site plan for Blessed Brothers requested by Jude Laporte. Proposed retail building on 0.8 acres, property located at 210 Waldron Road, tax map 015, parcel 27.00. It is an I-2 heavy industrial zoning district, property owned by Jude Laporte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have another deferral request here from Adam of Dale and Associates. They are still working out the sewer design and anticipate resolving that in time for the August meeting.
Very good. We'll defer that one as well. Our first item under new business is a request to set bond amount for public improvements for Phase 2 of Pinnacle Point Subdivision, requested by Enoch Gerald, 32 lots on 14.46 acres, property located along Sparrow Gap Drive, tax map 032, part of parcel 24.00, R1 Low Density Residential Zoning District, property owned by Deluxe Homes, LLC. Ms. Costanza.
Okay, in your packet you have the 3 bids for the completion of work, plus the engineer's stamped estimate of completion, along with the required 20% contingency and the overall average. The 3 bids were received from Jacobs, Gibbs, and Hawkins. The calculated average is $140,609.94 for the completion of the final topping, the installation of the sidewalks, and the as-built drawings.
When you say the 3 quotes, I think we only got 1 in our packet.
There's it's a summary sheet that shows the 3.
Okay.
Right.
The car it looks to be a fair number?
Yeah, we got the, I don't know what you got in your package, but we got the full quote, or I've got it in front of me, and they all look about right, so, and everything seems to be about a fair number.
Any comments? With that, I'll take a motion to accept or deny this bid.
Make a motion to accept the bid of $140,609.94.
I have a motion to accept. I have a second.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bid is accepted. Our next item of business, under new business, is a site plan for Cassidy Curley Parking Addition requested by Civil Site Design. Proposed 3,763 square foot parking lot addition on 9.12 acres. Property is located at 349 Mason Road, tax map 017, parcel 16.00, I-2 heavy industrial zoning district. The property is owned by LIT Finance III LLC. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had just 3 very minor technical items at the workshop pertaining to this parking lot expansion. They have fixed the site data table to match what is shown on the site plan. They have provided the required ADA handicap parking detail and provided the information pertaining to the landscaping that I had asked for. So all technical items have been addressed at this time.
Address, Mr. Chairman, make a motion to accept as submitted.
I have a motion to accept as submitted. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed. Our next item of business is a preliminary plat, Lakewood Subdivision, Phase 7, requested by Danny Womble, 25 proposed single-family lots on 8.38 acres, property located at the corner of Hollandale and Stones River Drive, tax map 06, parcel 16.00, and part of parcel 23.01, R2 medium density residential zoning district, property owned by Adnan Shreedman. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the revised preliminary plat that we looked at last month for Lakewood Subdivision Phase 7. Mr. Womble has revised the layout to better work with the subsequent phases. There were just a couple of minor comments or technical items at the workshop. They've all been addressed at this time. We have ensured that a note has been added indicating that lots 701, 712, and 713 shall not have access to Stones River Road per the workshop comments, and thus all items have been addressed.
Good.
No, with all items been addressed, I make a motion to accept as submitted.
I have a motion to accept as submitted. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passed. Our next item of business is a preliminary plat, Lakewood Subdivision Phase 8, requested by Danny Womble, 18 proposed single-family lots, 5.9 acres, property located at the corner of Hollandale and Stones River Drive, tax map 06, parcel 13.00, and part of parcel 23.01, R2 medium density residential zoning district, property owned by Adnan Shreedman. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the next phase of Lakewoods, Phase 8, across the street from Phase 7. We had looked at this at the workshop, and as you can see, there is a new roadway proposed, which will serve the great majority of the new lots. It has been named Shintar Drive. The other 6 technical items that we had, which were all very minor, have all been addressed at this time.
That, do I have a motion to approve or disapprove?
Make a motion to approve as submitted.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Passed. Our next item of business is number 7, final plat of re-subdivision, Ascend Federal Credit Union, requested by J. Fulmer, Fulmer Engineering, proposed 2-lot subdivision on 2.5 acres, property located at 215 Waldron Road, tax map 017, parcel 2.04, I-2 Heavy Industrial Zoning District, property owned by Ascend Federal Credit Union.
Mr. Chairman, if you recall at the workshop, this item as well as the next 2, we have a deferral request in due to the fact that there has been some legal issues with the closing of the right-of-way property sale, and it is in the hands of the legal teams right now, and they expect to have a solution in the coming month, if possible. So the city asks that we defer this item.
Very good.
Do we want to defer or remove it from the agenda?
It's up to the planning commission, as you see in the note from the city administrator. If we do remove them, we can just make a motion that they can refile without having to repay the fees. I think that would be fair, since it's not their fault that the situation has occurred.
I think we would defer because I've seen an email today that went to the administrator that looks like the closing might be set for next month. So if that's the case, then the closing will happen probably before or sometime during the workshop week. by the end of the month, we'll be able to vote on it.
Yeah, just to chime in as well, echoing what Kyle said, Evan's been dealing with the actual closing of the property, but it looks like the title issues hopefully have resolved. So to defer it this round might be just beneficial, and if there becomes further issues, we can talk about if we need to do something different.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a recommendation to defer.
We'll defer this item. Our next item of business, do you want me to go ahead and read this for the record? 8 and 9?
It's 7, 8, and 9, yes, they're all tied together for the same purpose.
So 8 and 9 are deferred as well. We're going to move on to item number 10. This is a rezoning of property requested by Ed Gaw, Gala LLC, 2.59 acres, property located along Old Waldron Road, tax map 017, Group C, parcels 6.01 and 6.02, current zoning R1, low-density residential, proposed zoning to R3, high-density residential, property owned by Gala LLC. Ms. Costanza.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we did discuss this, of course, at the workshop in great detail. There are no real technical items to address since it's a rezoning request. I can go through the report quickly. Mr. Gaw is requesting that the zoning be changed to allow the construction of a duplex on both sides of the existing house at 147 Old Waldron Road. You can see the plat on the screen. That is where the existing house is. The Planning Commission did subdivide this into 3 tracts in early 2015 when the owner went to an assisted living facility. The property is located at the end of Old Waldron, where it curves sharply with the intersection with Lytle. There's about 25 properties in the 500-foot radius. It's a mix of mostly R1 residentially zoned parcels with a little bit of, we've got some I-2 directly across the street, which is heavy industrial, and then there's a few commercially zoned parcels a little bit more north towards the intersection with Murfreesboro Road. And then there's also the TDS utility building. As you can see, in R3, it does allow for the duplexes to be constructed. That is roughly the 500-foot radius. And you can see where the X is, that's the property. You've got the heavy industrial. On 3 sides, it's mostly R1, low-density residential, and then you've got a little commercial here. The closest R3 zone is over here at the intersection of Buchanan and the Old Nashville Highway. The rezoning sign has been on the property for about a month now, and as you recall from the workshop, we did receive a petition of about 80 signatures that were against the rezoning request due to traffic, I guess limited sight distance due to the very sharp turn, and concerns about changing the nature of the residential zone in that vicinity. I've got a copy of that petition in here as well. And of course, this is just a recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for the rezoning request.
The workshop, and obviously the zoning as it presently is, and change it dramatically to where it needs to be, I'm against it. And with that, I'll make a unfavourable recommendation to the Mayor and Alderman.
I'll second it.
I have a motion to make a unfavorable recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Do I have a second? Second.
And if I may interject, Graham, if you could just real quick for the record, just state the basis for the motion for the disapproval of it.
Basically, number 1 would be could be classed as spot zoning, number 1, and number 2 is just for the health and safety reasons to do with the road and the infrastructure is already in position.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And with that, we will be sending an unfavorable recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Our next item on the agenda, number 11, is a site plan for a proposed 190-foot monopole cellular tower requested by Kayla Kramer, Branch Communications, on 20.54 acres, property located at 451 Mason Road, tax map 029, parcel 5.01, I-2 Heavy Industrial Zoning District, property owned by Beacon Transport Properties LLC. Ms. Costanza?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We did look at this in detail at the workshop. It is for a 190-foot Monopole Cellular Tower at 451 Mason Road in the I-2 zoning district, which is currently owned by Beacon Transport. At the workshop, we had a few technical items, mostly pertaining to a need to get the letters from the FAA and the FCC, as well as a revision to the proposed drainage plan. And then the two main concerns were the need to get the special exception granted by the Board of Zoning Appeals, which was granted earlier this evening, as well as the variance for the tower height, since the tower is slated to be 190 feet high, which is 40 feet higher than the regulations allow for. That variance was also granted at the Board of Zoning Appeals. Since the workshop, there was a comment that they would prefer a vinyl fence as opposed to the cedar fence that has been added to the site plan. The drainage, the letter pertaining to drainage has been received by the city engineer as well, and in your packet are the indications from the FAA and FCC of the notice to construct and the determination of no hazard. And I did also receive the detail that I asked for, indicating a more clear distance to residential. So that has satisfied my list of technical items from the workshop.
Any comments? That being said, I will take a motion for or against.
Make a motion to accept as submitted.
I have a motion to accept as submitted. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second, all in favor?
Aye.
It's approved. Our final item of business is bonds and letters of credit. Mr. Brown.
Mr. Chairman and Board, everyone should have the updated bond list in front of them. Everything is up to date. I think the biggest thing will be, I'm fixing to send out an email probably on the Pinnacle Point Phase 3 for everyone to go out and inspect it, since that maintenance letter of credit will expire October 9th. That'll just give everybody time to get it inspected, and we'll get an email out if anything needs to be fixed or corrected on that phase before it expires. Other than that, everything else is up to date.
Any comments from board members? That being said, this meeting is adjourned.